I would love to travel more, and I'm at the beginning of my travel adventures.
Well, I've been to Mexico, Mexico City. I've been to Washington, D.C., New York City, and LA, Las Vegas.
I've been to every state in the United States. I've been all across Canada except Newfoundland, as far as I can tell.
I've been a lot of places in the world.
I've traveled overseas. I've gone to Spain, I've gone to Italy, and Mexico several times.
New Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras.
Been to Yugoslavia, Paris, South Africa, Namibia, Canada, Mexico. Got a bunch of countries knocked off, so I've been all over.
I've been to Barbados and Trinidad and Brazil. Lots of time in Brazil. I've been to Brazil 7 times. Sometimes for a couple months at a time, several months at a time. Been across the border into Argentina at Iguazu Falls. I traveled South Africa, studying the accessibility of their tourism products before the World Cup in 2010.
I've driven coast to coast from Daytona to Los Angeles and back to Arizona. I've been to Chicago. I've been to Tennessee and North Carolina.
My goal before I'm 50 is to visit all of the 50 states, and I'm more than halfway there.
Italy, Slovakia, the UK, Portugal, Austria, India. Did a tour all around India training hotel managers on accessibility. Thailand. I give up.
I've always wanted to travel to Africa.
The top on my list is New Zealand, 1. Alaska is the 2nd one. They're up there neck and neck.
I have wanted to travel to the Amazon in Brazil.
Puerto Rico.
Germany.
I want to go to Bali.
I would love to travel to Europe and Asia. Love to visit Vietnam, where I was born.
Lake Tahoe.
I think one of the places I've always wanted to go would be Australia, maybe Sydney, and check out there. It's a lot more accessible than some of the other exotic countries that would be fun to visit, so start out somewhere like that.
Well, probably right here in Vancouver.
South America and Africa.
And my first answer is always Brazil.
Definitely I would go back to Europe, but most of all I really want to go to South America. I'd like to go to Brazil and Argentina.
I've always wanted to travel to South America to visit the pyramids down there and visit just all the different cultures that exist down there.
I'm looking forward to traveling the northern states, pretty much the states I've never been to ever. Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Washington. I've never been to Oregon.
It's great to know, okay, the airport has a system, whether it's great or not, but they have a system. Yes, you can fly, yes, you can get to the airplane, and yes, they have assistance.
Well, I've had a couple experiences flying on airplanes. All good so far, so I'm really happy about that because I've heard there are some difficulties with airplanes.
I'd say it's easy in domestic travel. On international flights, it's a little different depending on where you're going. Obviously, you may need assistance no matter what to get onto the airplane. Other than that, in America here, it's pretty easy, pretty standard stuff for them to do.
They could design a better aisle chair, one that's a little more comfortable. Because sometimes the people handling you in the aisle chair aren't as experienced, aren't as well trained as they should be. Which doesn't bother me, but I can see where some people, almost got dumped out a couple times. Which wouldn't really bother me, but they shouldn't. They should know better than that. They should be better trained on the aisle chair.
Waiting for the aisle chair and having to be there, you know, like 2 or 3 hours in advance to be the first one to get on, and then when you get to your destination, you have to be the last one to get off.
Quite often I'm sitting on an airplane and I'm really patient, letting everyone get off the plane before I get off. But I expect my wheelchair to be there immediately, and it's not a lot of times. And there seems to be some kind of lackadaisical thought involved with that, as far as, well, it was somebody else's job and somebody else's job and somebody else's job. And truth is, I'm a customer. I'm a paying customer like everyone else, and I'm waiting for everyone to get off the airplane. So my chair should be there immediately.
It's inconsistency and even backsliding on the part of airlines.
I would say for me the biggest barrier to the airlines right now is the whole issue of my chair getting damaged. And the bathroom is secondary, although I've learned to work with that if I'm traveling a long distance.
What could they do better? Taking care of wheelchairs. I still don't think they get it, that this is how we get around. Like, it's our legs. They treat it like luggage. And my friends that have power chairs, they're always coming back broke. So that, I mean, airlines have got to figure that out. I mean, I know there's things in the plane, you know, when the luggage shifts and things move around. I don't know what to do about that, but man, that sucks.
When you get in the plane and the armrest doesn't come off, and for me that's not wheelchair accessible. I need to be able to slide over.
Ultimately, it's been pretty good though. The airlines treated me pretty well. Even the small ones, when I have to get drug up the steps and into a small transfer plane, those are pretty well, aren't too bad either.
Even little rinky-dink airports, they know how to handle people in chairs. They are ready for you. You know, whatever you need. My experience has all been good.
Booking an accessible room and not getting the accessible room.
We'll show up to a place and what they think is wheelchair accessible is not accessible for me. So it's kind of interesting, you know, with the way that you have to really make sure that, you know, what you're asking is what you're getting.
I haven't really run into hotels not being accessible.
I'd say 70% of them do an awesome job. They know what to do and what to expect and how to set up things. And the rest 30% probably just have never experienced people in wheelchairs visiting their establishments.
Double check, call, bug people, and just make sure that it's what you need. It's really all you have to do.
Hotels are lacking in their front desk, their staff knowledge of what they have available for as far as accessible rooms. They should be better trained. I shouldn't have to call and explain to them all what a roll-in shower is. They should know what rooms have it and why it's important.
Really challenging booking a hotel room, I've found, and it hasn't really gotten better, because as soon as I ask for something for an accessible room, it's almost like the freak out button has been pushed. It's been pushed. And the person I'm speaking to, whether it's someone on the phone or in person, they get really nervous with me, and the different levels of accessibility in rooms now is really varied also, and so it can be really confusing to find out what kind of room I'm going to end up actually. So it's been challenging.
My biggest pet peeve with the hotel is the shower head. The maids leave the handheld shower hose way up high, and I'm always constantly like, why do they do that? Obviously this is here for a reason and I can't get it down. So yes, that is my #1 pet peeve of hotels.
Just the ultimate layout. They'll follow some of the guidelines. The door is wide enough and there's an accessible bathroom, but to navigate around the bed and between the dresser and the chair and to get out around, and then when the door is open, sometimes those things aren't possible.
And the bed heights are, it's pretty much a crapshoot with the bed heights. Sometimes they're super tall and I've got to get a rollaway bed because I can't get into them. And then sometimes they're super, super duper soft and they're a little hard to get out of. So the bed heights and firmness is probably, there's no consistency.
Restrooms can be challenging for some destinations and for some wheelchair travelers. For instance, if you go to Mexico and Malaysia, they don't require businesses to have a wheelchair accessible restroom. So you have to take what you can get, or there might be nothing at all sometimes. But even in countries like the United States and the UK, you'll still find businesses that do not have a wheelchair accessible restroom. Or they'll have a wheelchair accessible restroom, but it will be too small for a power wheelchair or a scooter to be able to fit through.
The biggest hassle that I have is probably in the airport with luggage. I've traveled a lot, and so I've learned to pack lighter so that I can fit it on my lap. But if I have to travel somewhere for an extended period of time, trying to get the luggage to the rental car agency or to whoever's picking me up or whatever, like off the turnstile to there, is a hassle. And so you have to pay somebody to help you or ask a random stranger. And usually I just struggle until somebody offers. So that's what I do to manage with the obstacles there that are at the airport.
You know, it's overwhelming in the airport and the way it's all set up, the security, and you know, with our luggage.
They swab our hands going through the security check, and I don't think they should be allowed to do that. I think that if they're going to swab our hands, they should swab everyone's hands and possibly the bottoms of their shoes. Because basically we're touching our wheelchairs and our wheelchairs are like the bottom of our shoes.
One of the biggest challenges that sticks out in my mind right now traveling with a disability is the last trip that I took to Sundance. There's not very many places that provide wheelchair accessible transportation at a decent cost.
See the world like anybody else.
We all want to get to know new places. We all want to see different things.
Oh my gosh, there's a whole world out there. And just because I'm in a chair, you know, I figured there's no reason that I can't get out and enjoy things other people do. I've always had the travel bug. I've always liked to go and do.
I travel to expand my world and to learn about other cultures and how other people are doing things and to experience a new way of being in the world and to get to meet people. And also it helps me to realize that I have a good thing going.
We get to where we're pretty good at getting around in our own homes, in our schools, at our workplace, in our own city. We can go shopping or whatever. It takes a lot more energy than it does for somebody else who's not disabled. But after a while, we want to challenge ourselves.
Traveling makes you feel so alive. It connects you to the world and to each other. It allows you to see that you are more capable than you realize.
Because it empowers our independency.
I think it's important to travel for multiple reasons. One, for yourself, to get out and see more of the world, more culture. And I think it's important to get out as a person in a wheelchair and share my abilities of being able to go out and be independent and travel around and not be sitting at home like everyone thinks I'm doing, watching TV and rotting away. And I can actually still go do things and travel around these cities, and there aren't, even with barriers, I'll find a way around them.
Sitting at home is my deal, but too many people do it because they don't know that they can. It's a long trip like Africa would seem, oh my God, how am I going to do that? How am I going to survive that 18-hour flight or 16 or 14, but it's doable. If a high quad, I know guys way higher than me, if they can do it, then you can go around the world.
I want to see how other people deal with the world and what's the world like and different perspectives. And I think, like anyone else, you get grateful for what you have, and you know things can be better too. So it really expands my horizons.
God gave us this world to roam freely, and I firmly believe that no matter what color, age, disability or not, it's ours. The world is ours.
The world of wheelchair traveling, whether it be airlines or hotels, activities, or anything else, is ever improving.